What do you do after seeing a gruesome death? I was a firefighter for 30 years and have seen unimaginable things. Find someone to talk about it with. A friend, a counselor, some from a church, anyone. There may even be a hotline you can call. Don't hold it in. It will slowly eat at you. I was a detective in a high crime rate area for 25 years. Lots of violent death, more than a few, found after a few weeks of death. If it's bothering you, causing anxiety, etc., go speak to a licensed therapist. This sounds really dumb, but play Tetris. I remember reading something that people who play Tetris within 12 hours it helped avoid or reduce PTSD. My guy at work saw a kid get splattered in front of offices on his way to work this week. Kid was zipping down the sidewalk on his dirt bike. Car turned right into a parking lot. Kid went straight into the side of the car. All day we sent my bro little videos of cute animals doing cute animal things. Dude seems okay. Time. I was on I-90 near Buffalo, NY. Someone in a sports car lost control, went left and hit the guardrail. They hit it on the joint, so the rail split, slid right up the hood and through the driver's side windshield and out the back. The first responders tried to cover everything from us all driving by, but there was just too much. It has taken time for the feelings to pass. I still feel horrible for the man, his family. It was horrible and I am not going to forget it. But time does make the horror fade a bit. I worked at a morgue a long time ago as an autopsy tech. Do not talk about what you saw and how you felt. Don't hold it in. Go to therapy. Talk about it. Deal with the emotions. 'Cause they're heavy. They're heavy to carry and they're heavy to move. But if you talk about it and you try to understand it, you will be better for it. Worked in a level 2 trauma center for 13 years. Go see a counselor. Talk about what you saw and how you are feeling. Much love. Counselors is always a good place to start. Was an EMTP for 5 years. Some of the stuff you won't ever forget seeing, but you eventually find a way to accept it, and that's the hardest part. I thought I was a badass that could shake off seeing what happens when a human drives a car into a brick wall. I was not, and I was too proud to ask for help. Now, I definitely have PTSD, and sometimes even suffer from night terror like dreams. If it bothered you enough to write what you did about it, and you still feel the same way after a few days, then it bothered you enough to talk with a mental health professional. Don't wait longer than you need to. Playing Tetris ASAP after a traumatic event can help prevent traumatic memories. You need to talk to people close to you. If it pops up in your head, don't ignore it. Talk to someone. You have to deal with it. You'll start thinking about it less and less. But make sure you're addressing it every time.
Play Tetris. I'm serious.
AEMT here. I did all the wrong things after I saw awful stuff. I drank, smoked, and kept it inside. Don't do anything of that. Talk to someone. EMT here. Talk about this with someone. Doesn't have to be a professional, but it can be. It can be a friend, a mentor, loved one, etc. But you need to talk it out. Embrace the thought. Don't shy away from it or try to force the images out of your head. It'll just make it worse. Embrace the negative feelings, and then they shall pass. Admit that it's okay to feel terrible for this person. Admit to yourself that what you saw was awful, and that it took a toll. Death is something nobody gets used to. Not even us first responders. It still impacts us. Don't let anyone tell you different. It's okay to be impacted by it. It means you're human. I'd recommend speaking to a professional about it. I'm a mental health nurse. I work with people who have diagnosed PTSD, and what you have seen can turn into a full-blown PTSD diagnosis if you don't take it seriously. I'd advise you to make a GP appointment ASAP. Hopefully there are some sort of mental health services nearby where you can access professional support to process what you've witnessed and learn to cope with the trauma. If not, I'd advise you to seek private therapy to get through it. Obviously having to pay to recover from seeking something like this is garbage, but it's really important. In the present, I'd advise you to talk to people closest to you. Maybe take a couple of days off work and maybe see if there's online support groups for those who have experienced the same sort of thing, which I am sure there are. You absolutely will get through this, and seeking support and making a safety plan will help you along the way. Take care of. You need to see something beautiful. Walk in beauty to try and heal the wound to your soul that seeing gruesome death has done to you. And talk to someone. If you try to suppress the memory, it will come in flashbacks. You have to talk about it. Death is very normal. If we all talk to each other more about how real it is, it wouldn't be as hard. It is a tragedy, but tragedy happens every day. This is part of life. I agree 100%. Talk about it. And it's great you already are here in this community. Death is hard to process in general, and seeing something like that is traumatic. Please try and find some peace in knowing that when our bodies go through severe trauma, we release chemicals and hormones that help us cope with it. That person didn't realize how mangled they were when they died, and they are now at peace. Firstly, I am sorry you had to see that, and that it's troubling you. Talk to a therapist. You might be fine, or you might not. The longer you wait, the longer your mind has to dwell and spin what you saw into something that is much harder to manage. If you speak to someone right away, they will help you to frame this in the best way possible so you have the best chance of being okay with it. I like to think of therapists as guides through your own mind. They help you navigate things. Sometimes, even when we're going to be fine with something, they can help guide us to that place. Sometimes there are things we wouldn't be able to deal with alone, but they show us how to get to the other side of it, and we ultimately end up being okay because of how they work through it with us. The key is often getting in early so you don't get lost in your own mind. It's harder for them to find you when you're in deep, and it's a lot further to the other side. So give yourself a good start and make an appointment with someone.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.